Well, students, today I'll explain you about the morphogenesis of skull. Under the morphogenesis of skull, I shall explain you history and development of it. History and development belongs under the morphogenesis of the skull. First of all, you know the development of the chondrocranium, which one is called as the neurocranium. Skull formation commences in the embryo soon after the formation of central neural system, that is called as CNS, central neural system or nervous system, and notochord. Notochord is the characteristic feature of the chordate group of organisms. Notochord is seen at the embryonic stage of the chordate group of organisms. Then laterally, notochord converted into the vertebral column. Okay? In vertebral column, you find one elaborate nervous system that would be generally coordinated to the other system, that is considered as central nervous system or central neural system. This portion generally comprises the brain as well as the spinal cord. After this one, other two subsystems also be remaining in the nervous system, that is called as peripheral nervous system or PNS. Other one is called as autonomic nervous system or ANS. Our topic is concentrating here about the skull. Before you knew about the skull of the rabbit as well as the skull of the human being. But here I will be stated you about the skull of different types of the vertebrate organisms. In that context, I will explain you the different forms of your skull. A pair of curved cartilaginous plate called the precaudals. Precaudals called as precaudals. Precaudals forms parallel to below the forebrain. No, the brain usually differentiated in three distinct regions. Brain is known as your encephalon. Encephalon would be remaining under the cephalon or brain box or skull, or called as the cranium box or bony box. Okay? And within it you find your brain. Brain is known as encephalon. Suppose here one you are called as the sketch pen or marker pen. This marker pen would be considered as the one brain. Okay? Suppose, and this is the foremost part of the brain. The foremost part of the brain is called as forebrain. This is the middle portion of the brain or a middlemost part of the brain, that is called as midbrain. Towards distal, you find the brain, that is the hindermost part of the brain, so it is called as hindbrain. Entire brain or encephalon, en means within. Within the cephalon you find the what? You find the brain. Brain is remaining within the head, so it is called as encephalon. Encephalon divided into three distinct parts. In simple language, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is known as progencephalon. Midbrain is known as mesencephalon, and hindbrain is also known as rhombencephalon. These three aggregatively constitute the encephalon or brain. Okay? And the brain is initially formed at the undermost part of the central nervous system or central neural system. The following portion of the CNS or central nervous system or central neural system, that is called as the spinal cord. That is called as spinal cord. After the brain, in the central nervous system, you must find the spinal cord as one part of it. Okay, just under the or below the forebrain, you find the precaudal plates would be formed up. Okay, it is a cartilaginous plates. Similarly, another pair of the your paracaudal cartilages would be formed in there. Paracaudal. After the precaudal, you find the paracaudal. Paracaudal. C-H-O-R-D-A-L. Paracaudals. Okay. Paracaudals would be formed in theirs. These are the cartilage bones like the your precaudals. Okay. And they would be remaining under or beneath the what? Your midbrain. Okay. As well as hindbrain. Okay. The paracaudals and precaudals, they are remaining on length of the brain. Okay. And you know your forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain generally giving support by the precaudals and paracaudals cartilaginous bones. Okay. And parallel to the anterior end of the notochord, the two precaudals expand towards each other and unite in the middle to form ethmoid plate. Ethmoid, called as ethmoid plate. Okay. When they will be united up, when the precaudals are united, okay, at that united place, at this middle line, you find one cartilage like plate would be formed ultimately, and that is called as ethmoid. E-T-H-M-O-I-D. Ethmoid plate. Okay. Similarly, the two paracaudals unite across the middle line, forming the basilar plate. Forming the basilar plate. Called as the basilar. Okay? Which are the paracaudals? They are also overlapping with each other. In that place, you find one basilar plate is formed up. The basilar plate and generally formed along with the your what? Ethmoid plate, and both the laterally ethmoid and basilar plate also grow towards each other and fuse to form a basal plate. The basal plate is the formed by the union of these two plates. When they will be united off at the united stage, when common plate is formed, that is called as basal plate, which are giving the mechanical support to the forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay? And mark there, they will be remaining in the floor, and floor upon which the brain rests, a large opening in the basal plate, that is called as hypophyseal fenestra. Hypophyseal fenestra. That is called as hypophyseal fenestra. Okay. And the hypophyseal fenestra. And generally, that can be lost the pituitary gland. Meanwhile, paired capsules of cartilages are also be formed around the developing the sense organs, and the olfactory capsule around the nasal epithelium, olfactory capsule around the nasal epithelium, and auditory or optic capsule surrounding the membranous labyrinth of the internal ear, okay, as well as to the your generally the optic lobes, okay. The optic capsule surrounding the membranous your membranous labyrinth or the internal ears and fused with the basal plate forming the neurocranium. In its the cartilaginous stage, the neurocranium is often termed as the chondrocranium, which means cartilaginous your brain case, otherwise called as your brain box, okay, that is generally composed by the cartilaginous structures in there, and optic capsules or sclerotic coats around the eyes and do not fuse with your chondrocranium, so that eyeballs can move independently of the skull, okay. You see your otic as well as olfactory, the lobes would be generally enclosed by the cartilage structures, okay, but your optic capsule or sclerotic coats around the eyes do not fuse with your chondrocranium, so that eyeballs can move independently of skull. However, further development involves the formation of the cartilaginous valves along your lateral sides of the brain in lower forms such as the elasmobranches and the lower bony fishes like the amia. The side walls further grow, forming the complete cartilaginous roof over the brain. Some openings remain uncovered for cranial, nerve and blood vessels. The largest of all is the foramen magnum at the posterior end of your chondrocranium for the spinal cord. Actually, the occipital segment bears that opening, which one is called as your foramen magnum, and this foramen generally provides the space for the running of the brain towards posterior as the name of the spinal cord, which traverses through the neural canals of the vertebrae bones towards the tail. In case of the human being, it also reaches up to the coccyx. Okay, and you mark here the largest of all the foramen magnum at the posterior end of your chondrocranium for spinal cord in most bony fishes and tetrapods. However, the brain is not roofed over by cartilages except the above the foramen magnum. Later, the membrane or dermal bones form a roof over the brain. Okay, and this is the description regarding the development of your your skull, along with the history of it. Let us know about the development of your splanchnocranium, and it develops partly from the neural crest cells and from your splanchnic mesoderm. The visceral arches arch ଏ ଟର୍ମଟା କୁହାଯାଉଛି। ଆର୍କ ମାନେ ତୋରଣ ଭିତରେ ରହିଛି ବୋଲି ଆକୁ ଭିସେରାଲ ଆର୍କସ୍ କୁହାଯାଉଛି। ତେଣୁ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ସ୍ୱତନ୍ତ୍ର ଗୋଟେ ଡିଭିଜନ ଅଫ ଦି your endoskeleton, thus ତାକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମେ କହୁଛୁ splanchnocranium. Let us know about the visceral arch in detail or splanchnocranium in detail. The splanchnocranium includes the visceral or pharyngeal skeleton consisting of a series of horseshoe-shaped a pair of the cartilaginous arcs, usually 7 pairs you have seen in there, and that is encircling and also supporting the pharynx between the gill clefts, and the ax remains united and interconnected ventrally but are free dorsally. The jaw vertebrates and ganthostoma. The first or the mandibular arc on either side of the divided into a dorsal ear but plateau pterygoquadrate cartilage and forming the upper jaw, and the ventral the Meckel's cartilage forming the lower jaw, and the second higher arc on either side gives out of the dorsal hyomandibular cartilages and to support the connect jaws to your chondrocranium below the auditory region, and ventrally forming the hyoid apparatus and supporting to the tongue. The remaining or the branchial arcs support the gills or larynx of the vertebrate group of organoids. Students, you also know about the development of the splanchno-cranium, and under it you also know the visceral arcs. Visceral arcs also be distributed in different places, and you find one visceral arc named as the mandibular arc,